Here we have Miss Christine Lagarde, the president of the ECB, the European Central Bank. Now, she came out with this stern warning against Bitcoin, calling for global regulation actually a couple of days ago. And we did our best to forget this story. We didn't really want to pay it any regard. It is now starting to influence the markets. It's starting to influence the way people are reacting. So we'll give you guys our breakdown as to whether or not this is significant. We'll give you a bunch of reactions as well from people in the space, leaders in the space, the Gemini twins, Michael Novogratz, Michael Saylor. We'll let you know whether or not they're panicking, and we'll break down their strategies accordingly. Hey everybody, happy Friday. Okay, here courtesy of Reuters, we have ECB President Christine Lagarde called for the global regulation of Bitcoin. And she said that the digital currency has been used for money laundering activities in some instances, and that any loopholes needed to be closed. Follow Reuters' next updates here. Yes. So Reuters broke this story, I guess, alongside a lot of other media outlets. And Christine Lagarde is concerned about Bitcoin and all the ways it has been misused. Isn't that altruistic of Miss Christine Lagarde? I think there's a larger agenda here, and this is going to be a nuanced discussion here because in sync with this news, we're seeing actually more publicity surrounding China and its CBDC, its central bank digital currency. Here on news.cgtn.com, China's digital currency now in pilot test in Shanghai. So the European Central Bank very likely is teaming up with other central banks around the world. By the way, I've repeated this, I've cited this statistic many times, 80% of which those central banks are now either piloting or testing or deploying in some way some version of their own central bank digital currency. Now, this isn't a nefarious conspiracy. I'm actually in support of CBDCs to a certain extent with, certain, considerations, but CBDCs are very much the future. They're coming. It's a function of who has control, and I think the ECB wants to maintain that control as much as possible. So I'm just introducing this story as a temporary tangent here, and we're going to link it all together in a second. But the digital renminbi, or the yuan, a virtual currency administered by the People's Bank of China, the country's central bank, has arrived in full in Shanghai. After tests in several other cities, including Shenzhen, which we've covered in the past, it's now in use at the city's Tongren Hospital, providing staff with an easy way to pay for their meals in the canteen. So one doctor was quoted as saying, it's just like using a Metro card. It's convenient and you know how much you've spent and how much is left in your card. China is definitely at the forefront of this right now. The US, I think, based on what Mark Zuckerberg was trying to do with the Libra, the US had that congressional testimony and they shut down initial efforts that Libra was trying to trailblaze, and that ultimately set back their CBDC efforts and their campaign. But it seems to be rejuvenated here. On Cointelegraph.com, the US Fed says that a CBDC is a very high priority to combat bad private sector money. Now, look, I have no problem with CBDCs. I think CBDCs are a more efficient alternative to the current banking system and the SWIFT transmission system of money that is an infection within the current banking system. It's this dinosaur from the 1970s. I'd much rather have a behavioral economics model where the central banks can basically supply you, with money directly. Think about how that would have impacted the stimulus checks, for example. So this is a broader discussion. All I'm saying is that Christine Lagarde is on the side of this CBDC initiative, and on its own, that initiative is not a bad thing. I support CBDCs. I support that initiative, at least to a certain extent. My problem with Ms. Christine Lagarde is that it's this either-or mentality. CBDCs, ECB, they're all good. Bitcoin, bad. Well, not really. They can both be good. And we're going to highlight some of the hypocrisy here, courtesy of Tyler Winklevoss to start with. The irony is so rich. Bitcoin is a reaction to all of the funny business that central bankers have been perpetrating on the people for centuries. Bitcoin as a movement is here to stay, and it's never going away. It's never going anywhere. And here with, I think, a very apt perspective, very poignant as well, Crypto Rand. Bitcoin is a threat to their printing obsession. They are afraid, and that is good. So, this is the ECB's, European Central Bank's balance sheet. As you can see here, very similar to the United States and the Federal Reserve, just through the roof money printing, through the roof burring of euros. I don't trust any organization with a balance sheet that looks like this. And yet, here we have Christine Lagarde asking for our trust, asking our cooperation here for some kind of globalized Bitcoin regulatory system. Why? Here's a perfect argument against why we shouldn't do it. That is, ECB's Christine Lagarde says speculative Bitcoin needs global regulation. Well, have a look at this. In 2020, Bitcoin is a highly speculative asset which has conducted some funny business and some totally reprehensible activity. That's what Ms. Lagarde has to say. Well, rewind to 2016. You may recall this headline from The Independent. Christine Lagarde convicted, IMF head found guilty of criminal charges over massive government payout. And it's not just Christine Lagarde, it's not just the ECB, it's not just the IMF. Every major bank, every major global bank today has paid probably billions or tens of billions, I think cumulatively hundreds of billions of dollars in fines for the absurd and blatant money laundering that they have done. I mean, the bankers are the biggest criminals in the world, and you can just as easily have criminal activities that you fuel with cash versus Bitcoin. I would say it's easier to do so with cash versus Bitcoin. There's still a certain level of forensics that are associated with Bitcoin, and so cash is the ultimate tool for criminals. I mean, you think of all the big players in the space, think of JP Morgan, think of Morgan Stanley, think of HSBC and others. I mean, these guys have all been caught up in money laundering schemes, in ridiculous criminal activities, even drug trafficking. I'm not joking about that. With this perspective here, we have Anthony Pompliano. This is from his news post for paid readers. Bitcoin is the most regulated currency in the world. In light of ECB President Lagarde's comments earlier the other day, I explain why Bitcoin is already more regulated and used less often for illicit purposes than any other currency. Here's a reaction here on the part of Grayscale, but we're going to go through some of the reactions here. Some of, again, the titans in the space, the Michael Novogratzes of the world, the Tyler and Cameron Winklevosses of the world, the Michael Saylors of the world. I'll give you a sense of whether or not they're reacting with panic or whether they're kind of encouraged and maybe more enthusiastic than ever. Beginning here again with Grayscale. At BYBT here, Grayscale is back. Grayscale gains another 2,172 Bitcoin in 24 hours. Their total AUM now $26.39 billion. I think it's safe to say they're still bullish here according to their fourth quarter report. Last quarter, we saw a total investment into Grayscale products of $3.26 billion. That's an average weekly investment of $251 million. And you can read more about our record-breaking quarter here. And as per their update yesterday, net assets under management, holdings per share, and market price per share for our investment products now even higher, $27.7 billion. Deribit is also extremely bullish, not dissuaded in the least by what Ms. Lagarde has to say. They just added a Bitcoin $400,000 strike for the December 21 futures expiry. You can read more about that here on Coindesk.com. Deribit Exchange raises maximum Bitcoin options strike price to $400,000. That is up from what was previously listed as a $300,000 strike price. That was implemented on the 9th of January. Already they have to update that to $400,000. Obviously because of demand, obviously because there are some people out there willing to make a bet to that end that Bitcoin will be $400,000 by December. Probably not the most likely scenario in my opinion, but this is a market in which people are willing to make that bet. Galaxy Digital, also bullish, also not dissuaded in the least. This from yesterday. Galaxy Digital to start mining for Bitcoin on its own and provide financial services to miners. Galaxy has launched its proprietary mining and miner financial services operations. And there's a great interview, by the way, between Mike Novogratz and Raoul. It's about an hour long or so. You can find it on the Real Vision YouTube channel. So for more insight into Michael Novogratz's brain, where he stands, how he sees the future, check that one out. We'll be discussing it again likely very soon based on so much that was talked about as part of that piece. Tyler Winklevoss here, introducing the Gemini card. I wonder if he's discouraged by what Miss Christine Lagarde has to say. With this card, you can earn 3% back in Bitcoin Ether, ETH, or any other crypto when you use it for purchases. You can join our waitlist today for early access. So on Gemini here, the exchange rather, they're going to be launching their credit card with 3% cashback rewards paid in Bitcoin. Don't tell Christine Lagarde. I don't know if she would be too happy about this. Back to Anthony Pompliano with this perspective. Bitcoin is the future and gold is the past. If you don't believe me, just ask any kid under the age of 25. Never financial advice, of course. Also, somebody else that is more discouraged than ever that we haven't talked too much about in the past, but is becoming a rising star in the space, the mayor of Miami, Mr. Francis Suarez here. Anthony Pompliano highlighting, a simple idea in the hands of the right person can take us very far. Kudos to Francis Suarez, again, the mayor of Miami, Florida, for trying to create an environment that embraces and empowers entrepreneurs. If you're hearing about Mr. Suarez for the first time, he is embracing, like 100% embracing cryptocurrency, embracing Bitcoin. He wants Miami to be the United States' first crypto city. These are some of the tags and labels that are going around. Just check out his Twitter profile here. This is his pinned tweet, Mayor Francis Suarez. We hope to make our city of Miami one of the most crypto-forward and technologically advanced cities. Miami Mayor considers Bitcoin investment to create crypto hotbed. And this is being covered by some major outlets, the likes of Fox Business and others. This is one individual here that sees the writing on the wall, that has the vision. Believe me, others will follow. Michael Saylor, another individual undaunted in his mission and in his vision. Bitcoin is emerging in 2021 as the new compelling institutional-grade safe haven asset. Excess cash is a drag on shareholder value in the current monetary environment, so we can expect more firms to adopt Bitcoin as a treasury reserve asset. Michael continuing here, Bitcoin is an open, fair, and equitable money network. It improves as new members contribute their human and financial capital, just like every country, state, city, agency, company, club, church, party, union, cooperative, association, school, institution, ideology, and culture. And Michael, of course, is putting his money where his mouth is. MicroStrategy, although it's down a little bit today, everything is kind of down today. You can see that it was a little bit higher, up closer to $631 this week, actually. But, adding about $1 billion to its market cap, I think since last time we checked in, I believe it was about 4.6, 4.7 or so, now 5.56 billion, up above $590. Again, it was up above $600 recently. So Michael Saylor, not necessarily being some abstract theoretical cryptocurrency kind of individual. He's putting his money where his mouth is. He's really elevated MicroStrategy here, not only at the level of their reserves, which are held right now in Bitcoin, but at the level of their stock price, at the level of investor confidence. I've noted before that the more you zoom out on the MicroStrategy chart here, this begins itself to look like an altcoin chart. Just unbelievable performance by MicroStrategy. Expect it to go higher. All this to say, guys, all of these individuals are totally undaunted when it comes to Bitcoin, despite what Miss Lagarde had to say. Even Jack Dorsey, check out what he had to say. The reason I have so much passion for Bitcoin is largely because of the model it demonstrates, a foundational internet technology that is not controlled or influenced by any single individual or entity. This is what the internet wants to be, and over time, more of it will be. And of course, a healthy Bitcoin means a healthy cryptocurrency and altcoin market, and that's the direction that we're going to pivot in right now. Speaking of Raoul Pal, I mentioned his interview with Mike Novogratz earlier. Do check that out if you have about an hour or so to spare. Raoul Pal has this observation. He's starting to cozy up more and more to Ethereum. He sees the potential there. By the way, ETH is up 60% in the first 14 days of the year. I think it outperforms all year, but I still own much more Bitcoin, but have been adding to ETH. Next stop will be higher risk alts, but much, much smaller because more risk equals smaller size. Alex Saunders here also commenting on Ethereum and the increasing scarcity of this asset. Believe it or not, this is now something that is a very real consideration and something which may help drive Ethereum's price up toward new all-time highs. So Alex writes here, exchanges could be out of ETH within 48 hours. Demand has skyrocketed. Exchange reserves fell 20% from 10 million to 8 million in just the last few hours. With targets of 5,000, 10,000, and 20,000 long term, I doubt many hodlers will sell their ETH in the $1,000 to $2,000 range. And as Bitcoin goes, so goes Ethereum. As Ethereum goes, so goes the altcoin market. It cascades rather predictably in that sense. And we're now going to spend some time discussing some important altcoin updates, beginning with Crypto.com here. In advance of the Crypto.com chain mainnet launch, we're excited to announce our partnership with Alchemy platform. Alchemy, the world's most powerful blockchain developer platform, will build tools and services to ease development on the Crypto.com chain. You can read more and get further details on blog.crypto.com. Don't forget, guys, you can always avail yourselves of our Crypto.com MCO Visa card by checking out our description and the comments below. If you're in the market for a cryptocurrency Visa card, this is the best one that is available. You'll get $25 as well for signing up using our code. It is simply AB. Paid Network is another project that is rapidly gaining our attention and is occupying a larger and larger space on our altcoin radar. They're doing a lot of great innovative things. Generally speaking, they're making cross-border business easier for all the parties that may be involved in those spaces. Paid Network, with this update, we're pleased to announce our 2021 tech roadmaps rollout. We began building Paid Network in late July of 2020, and we have made substantial progress since then. With even more exciting features and announcements on the horizon, you can read the details on paidnetwork.medium.com. We're going to be discussing Paid Network quite a bit more in the near future, so stay tuned. eMoney is another project that we're pretty hyped about. They're all into frictionless digital cash, especially remittances via stablecoins, and they have this update you can follow at eMoney_com. Whitelisting for our public sale just closed with 5,597 registrations. Thank you to everyone who took the time to sign up, and don't forget to set up your eMoney account. Connect your wallet to Polkadot and stock up your wallet with ETH. This from today, the 15th of January. You can learn more about this update here on medium.com, how to participate in the eMoney public sale on Polkadot. Unfortunately, that event has now wrapped up, but there will be more similar events in the near future, and eMoney is another project that we will be keeping our eyes on, so stay tuned for more information. Parsec here is in the news. Today we've got some news. Parsec is proud to announce that we've successfully integrated our monitoring with the Aave v2 protocol custom streams to monitor Aave-specific events in their protocol. And you can read more about that on blog.parsec.net. Injective protocol here at Injective Labs. We are excited to launch a swap and stake campaign with our newest partner, iSafePal, the first hardware wallet to be backed by Binance. Previous participants include Binance Chain and Aave. And Ren protocol here from a few days ago. Total volume in Ren VM's metric for success, and it has just surpassed $2 billion US dollars, along with over 2.6 million USD paid out in Bitcoin and others to network participants. Hashtag RenVM. Big kudos, $2 billion. That is certainly a milestone to be celebrated. DApp Journey here at DApp Journey. WBTC has a market capitalization of over $4.6 billion, making it one of the largest digital assets by market value. And the rise of wrapped Bitcoin is attributed to two factors. Number one, a booming DeFi market, and number two, the Bitcoin rally itself. For more information on what is wrapped Bitcoin or WBTC and how to use it in DeFi, check out trustwallet.com. CZ Binance here with this update. Large gaming partner moving to Binance Smart Chain, hashtag BSC. He's talking about Animoca brands. They're going to be expanding their innovative tokenization of gaming assets by using Binance Smart Chain as the preferred blockchain infrastructure for selected blockchain projects. And you can read more about that on animocabrands.com, where they have announced their strategic partnership with Binance. Nulls here is in the news at Nulls. Nulls and Nerve Network are delighted to announce the planned integration of Chainlink, the market-leading decentralized Oracle network, into the Nulls ecosystem. Integrating with Chainlink will empower our developers to build next generation of DeFi apps. And finally, here we have some Polkadot news. Polkadot has just been absolutely tearing it up. Rococo V1 parachain registration has begun. For chain builders looking to participate, check out the Rococo V1 parachain requirements guide here. To stay up to date with the latest developments, join the Rococo Matrix Parity.io on Element HQ. Also here, Michael Van de Poppe. Polkadot is one of the strongest bouncers today as it hit one of the levels I've marked previously. This from the 13th of January. Probably some more consolidation. However, I think it's just a matter of time before we see DOT above $20. Very possible, although not financial advice, guys. Take that with a grain of salt, but certainly very possible. That about wraps it up for today, everybody. Do be sure you're following us on all the regular social media channels and keep checking back into altcoinbuzz.io for all the latest. Like, subscribe, share, of course, and hit the bell to receive notifications if you guys enjoyed today's video. Best of luck if you choose to invest on this Friday. But have a great one, everybody. A terrific end to your week, a terrific start to your weekend. Stay safe. And as always, we hope to see you again soon in our next video. Take care.